welcome to Wrap It Up. My name is Nonkazimbolo Qindi. Super excited to be with you at the end of another interesting week with so many interesting stories. Now, this is the channel that gives you the update of all those stories that you might have missed. Now, let's get straight into it. ANC is no stranger to corruption. We saw this with the former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede, who was asked by the party to step down amid corruption charges, but she's receiving a salary. I was like, what rubbish is this? Because when I trace back to a few months ago, the communication minister, Abraham Stella Ndabeni, was suspended for a whole month for breaching lockdown regulations where she was with a friend at the house and they were having dinner and she was not observing the social distancing protocol. Okay, we get that. So she was suspended for a whole month. She didn't get a month's salary. We are talking about a minister. And now here is a former mayor facing corruption charges and she receives a salary. There's no balance in that, right? I thought to myself, this is rubbish. ANC has gone too far this time. What do you think about that story? Another one that was interesting was of the former cabinet minister, Mamanum Mukunani, who's also not a stranger to corruption. So she appeared at the Zondo Commission, right, on allegations made by the Busasa CEO, Angelo Agrizi, and she denied that she received 50,000 rand from the company, as well as that the same company funded her 40th birthday back in 2003, which was held at the Victorian Guest House. And the funny part about this is that the owner of the guest house provided evidence to say that here is proof that we funded the party of Mrs. Mukunani. So what made me laugh is that Mrs. Mukunani was going around in circles. She was in denial. And at some point, she was saying that she forgot some of the events that happened, regarding those allegations. And I was laughing and I was thinking to myself, but when evidence is provided before you, whether you forgot, whether you remember, whether your memory is failing you, it doesn't matter. Evidence is there. Just face the music. So she sunk under waters of evidence and it was quite terrible for her. I really felt for her at some point. Right, moving right along, we saw the Jacob Zuma letter attacking President Cyril Ramaphosa on calling out ANC regarding the corruption charges that had been looming in the past weeks and months even. So he was saying that Mr. President is the first president to call out on ANC as being the accused number one, as well as saying that ANC should bow its head in shame for the corruption that it is involved in. And I couldn't agree with him more. You know, I'm not agreeing with Jacob Zuma, but I'm agreeing with what Cyril Ramaphosa did, calling out the ANC on its wrongdoing and its corruption that it has been committing. So if he's the first president to do so, then I don't see any problem. We understand that Msholozi loves the ANC so dearly. He has a rich history with it and he's part of it, as much as he's not a president anymore. But corruption is corruption. Let's call it out, okay? Give me your views on that story as well. We also learned that Africa is now free from polio. So this is a disease that causes paralysis and the continent has been free for about 4 years as there have not been any cases reported within that period. So we could do with some good news amid this pandemic. And I hope for that day where we also announce that COVID-19 is definitely over. Do you see that happening? I see it happening. Maybe not today, but eventually. So give your views on that story as well. Moving further abroad, we learned of the peaceful protests that took place in Kenosha City, and protesters were angry, not happy, chanting Black Lives Matter as well as no peace, no justice. This after the death of Jacob Blake, who was shot in front of his 3 children, shot by a white police officer. And I'm so glad that it was discovered after investigations that it's a white police officer who shot him 7 times. 7 times. So it means that this was intentional and he wanted Jacob Blake dead. And it was a sad one. I can only imagine the trauma that those kids faced. And I hope that justice will prevail. Black lives do indeed matter. But I also believe that the rest of other lives matter. But the way things have been going on in US, it's time that black people get justice. This and similar cases need to get justice. We also learned of the passing of the Black Panther legend. I'd like to call him a legend, an actor, Chadwick Boseman, who passed away due to cancer, colon cancer to be precise. And oh my goodness, he has cemented himself quite well within the film industry, and may his soul rest in peace. He died at a very, very young age. 43. He still had a long way to go, and I hope that his wife as well as his children are coping well and better days will definitely come. So we also learned of the birthday celebration of Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who turned 92 recently, and he was saying that South Africa has been mismanaged over the years, but he's still hopeful for a bright future for South Africa. And I was watching that interview on television, and he was actually saying that he's living on bonanza years. And it's so beautiful to see that a person as old as 92, he understands that he's living on grace years. He could have been gone. His age mates are gone and buried, and he's still alive, and he still has hope for South Africa. So, yeah, happy birthday to him. Or should I say happy belated birthday? But yeah, anyway, he's 92 and we celebrate his years. Another one that we learned of when it comes to sports is Arsenal actually beating Liverpool 5-4 in penalties. I was like, oh, Bandla. First Kaiser Chiefs. Now when it comes to international football, Liverpool, my dear Liverpool, was beaten. But nonetheless, it's what I always say, that you can never ever confirm when it comes to soccer. Today, the best team, tomorrow becomes the losers. So yeah, kudos to Arsenal on that note. And to wrap up this episode, we saw Master KG's Jerusalem reaching 100 million views. But I tell you what, I believe it's going to be more. It's going to be way more. I'd like to see the day where this video reaches 1 billion views. I mean, it's a miracle. It's a huge deal. If somebody thinks that this is not a huge deal, it is. 100 million views is achieved by top artists in the universe within years. They actually don't even reach 100 million. So yeah, congratulations to you. I actually saw that even the video was shared by who's this, Cristiano Ronaldo, as well as Janet Jackson. You know what, Master KG, it's your season. Nomtebo, well done as well. We also celebrate you, my girl. So yeah, that's a wrap up of all the news stories that I had for you. I'll be back again next week with another dose of Wrap It Up. Continue to share, to like, and to subscribe to my channel. Shop shop.